Welcome to Power Up with NSA North Texas, a show about finding, hearing, and maximizing valuable insights from some of the world's leading business and lifestyle speakers. Each week, international keynote speaker and National Speakers Association North Texas Chapter President Betty Coffey sits down with some of the most exciting speakers this side of the globe to hear from these subject matter experts what's making a difference in business today and learn all there is to know about people, profits, and productivity in business from some of the world's best motivators. This is Power Up with NSA North Texas. And now, here's your host, Betty Coffey.
Hi everyone, I'm Betty Coffey, your host today for Power Up to be better, faster, and stronger with the National Speakers Association. The NSA, National Speakers Association, is the premier organization for professional speakers. Our members from North Texas reach leaders every day as thought leaders, as humorists, as motivators, as coaches, as consultants, as trainers, and we do it every day around the globe. This show really highlights some of the issues, some of the questions, and some of the topics that are going around in business today that leaders are looking for the answers for. And they go to our own subject matter experts here at NSA North Texas to get the answers. I'm excited today because my guest is Dr. Nancy Little. She is a powerhouse within the NSA North Texas organization and the Dallas Metroplex. Where our topic today is all about energy creators, effective energy management for perceptive, proactive, and purposeful leadership. I love that, the 3 Ps. So what is it? What are energy creators? Energy creators empowers individuals, teams, and organizations to engage effectively, embrace their inner potential, and elicit the energy to excel in productive and meaningful ways. Wow, it's a lot of power in there.
Yes.
I love that. Dr. Nancy, here's everything you want to know about Dr. Nancy Little. She is a Chief Energy Officer of Energy Creators. As she synthesizes her experience working with diverse clients and utilizing her expertise in human behavior, Dr. Nancy creates life-changing shifts for those and everybody she engages with. She really, truly does. I've never met, on a personal note, I've never met someone who is as caring and as loving and concerned about everybody she meets. I know that wasn't in your bio, but I had to throw that in there because I truly believe it. She's been honored with a commendation from the Texas State Senate for her contributions. As a heart-opening, think about that, heart-opening professional speaker and author, Dr. Nancy encourages audiences with her sensitivity to universal human needs while celebrating individual uniqueness and igniting transformative changes. She's a licensed professional counselor, has been since 1983, and Dr. Nancy counsels thousands of clients in her private practice. She supported their emotional health as they explore issues on varied wellness, relationship, life change, and career-related themes. In her replenishment time, I love that word too, not downtime, not me time, but replenishment time, there's a lesson there. Dr. Nancy may be found riding her brand new bicycle on scenic trails and experimenting with new healthy recipes. So let's talk with Dr. Nancy Little. Dr. Nancy, I'm thrilled to have you on the show today.
I am so happy to be here, Betty. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. So I love your title, Energy Creators, and let's talk about those and how they're making a difference in all aspects of our life, both personally and professionally.
Yes. Energy creators. Maybe some of you have reached a point in your life where you questioned, am I really living my full purpose and reaching my full potential? Energy creators have moved through that process. They are incredibly self-aware. Mm-hmm. They know how to self-manage and self-regulate. They're very cognizant of their relationships with other people, how they affect others. They also have developed well the 3 Ps that you so beautifully mentioned, perceptive, proactive, and purposeful. That really just means they pay attention to their own inner workings. They know how they affect others. then they take decisive action. Once they are aware, then they can do something about it. They can implement the necessary changes. And when they're really hitting on all cylinders, they feel as if they're on purpose, as if they are truly living into what they're here to accomplish.
It sounds like a Herculean task, or are you expecting too much from us? But to have all those abilities and put all those points and steps together, is that tough? I mean, is it going to be easy for us to do?
Well, we take one small step at a time. The first step is often the hardest, but once we begin to see the pattern and the shifts that we can make, we feel encouraged, and we get that momentum that you talk about as well. So when people, what benefits when they become energy creators? What benefits can people derive from incorporating those concepts into both their lives and especially business settings? Well, when they're engaging in self-care or the respites that we all need, we are dealing with chronic stress, many of us. And I talk to people regularly that report feeling overwhelmed, sleep deprived, just lacking in their ability to get to the gym or to do things that really benefit them.
That's about all of us.
And the reality is that they're on their way to burnout. They're dangerously in a zone where they're more likely to trip up if they're fall in an ethical pothole, to do something that they otherwise may not do, or to overreact in a work or a family setting where they say something that they wish they could take back or they later regret, or worse yet, an email that's out there that they cannot retrieve and is forever something that may cause a rift in a relationship. But for managers, for leaders, we need to know that when we take those respites, when we pause and hit the pause button like we do on our DVRs, that we're going to be more productive. We're going to be more energized at work. We're going to have fewer absences. We're going to supervise people that are better at their jobs. They're concentrating better. And importantly, and particularly in some settings, they are less likely to have an accident. They have more focus.
Yes.
And they have better reaction times. You know, there are a lot of research that indicates that when we're sleep deprived and not taking care of ourselves well, that we function like somebody that's legally intoxicated. And that is not the way that we show that we are peak performers, either as a leader or as an employee.
I've seen you in your presentations, and your presentations are incredibly informative, they're very, 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 very beneficial for audiences. And you've used energy creators and also energy depleters in some of your presentations. Yes. Tell me about those, because we all know people that are kind of like sucking the blood out of you a little bit. I'm assuming those are energy depleters. How do you deal with both of those?
Well, energy creators are much more in the zone. They are willing to make the shifts that are necessary. They might just need a little tweaking, but they're the ones that will sign up for the training, and they'll go and they'll be enthusiastic and they'll incorporate what they've learned. Energy depleters are a little bit different. They're coming from a different space, but they should not be given up on, because they can turn their performance around and their attitude around. Sometimes energy depleters are just caught up in a lot of issues. And I have an example of a guy I worked with named Alan. He had gone through a difficult divorce and a custody battle. He did get custody of his son. Michael was his name. And then he remarried, and he and his wife had a baby. Well, things were not going well for Alan. At work, his performance was really shaky, and he was not getting along well with other colleagues or his supervisor. So he sought out the company EAP program and began to seek personal counseling. And over the course of about a year, he really turned his life around, so much so that he wound up getting a promotion. His managers and his colleagues believed in him. They knew he had potential, but he was really, Betty, a perfect example of what can happen to somebody when they're sleep deprived, when there's constant conflict in their life, when they don't have anywhere that they can really rest and restore, and they feel this false sense of guilt or self-blame, and they begin to feel powerless and hopeless. But when he started making those tweaks, things really shifted.
That's interesting. And I think a lot of people out there in our audience could identify with that.
Sure.
Or know somebody like that. So the depleters, we can work with them.
Yes, we can. A lot of times they're operating from a fear base. They're feeling discouraged.
Okay.
And when we get into that negative self-talk and some of those old tapes that we might have told ourselves earlier in our life, or maybe somebody else told us that we didn't have the potential, or we weren't college material, we start believing it again. When evidence contradicts that, but we start thinking, well, maybe they were right. So encouragement and a compassionate, understanding boss can really be helpful.
Love that. I know that I speak about emotional intelligence a lot with my horsepower momentum programs, and I know you do too. But you also speak about energy intelligence.
Yes.
Talk to me about energy intelligence and how energy intelligence can help us live more purposeful lives.
Sure. Well, you already know how important emotional intelligence is to one's success in business and in life, but there's some parallel between the 3 Ps and the different categories of emotional intelligence. The self-awareness, the self-management, which I already mentioned, as well as social awareness and relationship management. When we're really high in emotional and energy intelligence, we're really tuned into our body's natural rhythms. We know when our most productive times are. We know when we're most effective at writing or doing a complex analysis of our financial resources, etc. We tune in to how we ebb and flow throughout the day. But there's more to it, Betty. We're also, when we're high in energy intelligence, we notice other people's energy, and we can tune in to what is happening for others, particularly in times of conflict. We tune into what is not being communicated, not just the spoken word. So we have the ability to relate to people even if we don't actually agree with them or quite understand their perspective. So it facilitates teams being able to move forward in tough times.
And not just emotional intelligence, but energy intelligence.
So my friend Marty, if I could just say a bit about her, she was in a very difficult management role, and she had difficult news to deliver to her team. But she was so sensitive. She was able to be perceptive about the timing of the delivery of it. And she had already laid a foundation of honest communication so that they trusted her, and she had an understanding of how they might react. So she was able to troubleshoot kind of in advance by that sensitivity. And her bridge building really helped establish buy-in and gain successful resolution.
That makes sense. I love that. It seems like today, in today's business world, compassion and kindness have never been needed more. Both in our both personal and professional lives. Would you agree?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. It's a big issue. We don't have to go very far when we turn on the news or even read a headline, if you don't even allow yourself to turn on the news, to hear about divisiveness and conflict and targeting. It's not just in politics, though. It can be in our workplace. It can be in our neighborhoods. It can even be in our churches, where people are so caught up in arguing in a right way and a wrong way. But, you know, as the spirit of Cavett for our NSA North Texas chapter, it's really hit home with me in the last couple of years that I've been in this role, how important it is to appreciate the impermanence of life and how quickly our life can turn around for any of us, no matter what we believe about our longevity, our health. Things happen, just like the severe thunderstorms that left so many without power this weekend. So I know that most of us don't get enough positive feedback. We don't feel appreciated. We don't often feel respected or treated kindly. And so we know that at the core of our being, we all yearn to feel that we have a purpose, that our life matters. And when we treat each other well, it really engages us to a new and heightened level of commitment. As leaders, we have such an opportunity to convey empathy and appreciation and kind-heartedness. And then we can just see evidence of positive ripples that move forward.
It's true. Not only benefits the person that we're being kind and compassionate to, it benefits us.
Absolutely.
So what unique characteristics are necessary for us to make more effective and inspiring change?
Well, there are many, and I'll just highlight a few of the most important. When we're genuine, when we're authentic, and when we show a willingness to collaborate. Sometimes you just have that sense about someone because of their excellent listening skills and their finely tuned communication, that they're going to be willing to hear your input as well. On the other hand, we know when somebody only wants their way to be the way. But when we want to inspire change in our groups, we need to be empathic, as I mentioned previously, because that's a way that we gain trust, and trust is so important in our business communities. Again, being self-aware, knowing how our words, how our actions, even how our nonverbals are communicating to other people, our attitude and what we believe. But one I particularly want to highlight is it takes a highly ethical person, somebody that really follows their values, their standards, and their ethical guidelines to really inspire change, because we follow people that are consistent and that we can admire the way that they show up and live on purpose.
That's right. Purposeful living. I've got a question for you. I know that you travel a lot in your speaking career, and you've got busy schedule. How can our audience out there that's also traveling a lot, that has busy schedules and client events, how can you manage your energy levels?
Well, that is a great...
Not so much other things, but your energy levels, because I don't think we tap into our energy levels enough. How can we do that?
And we don't want to show up exhausted and overly sensitive to where when the slightest thing goes wrong with, excuse me, our microphones, we burst into tears. You're right. And I do have a list on my website that highlights nurturing self-care to restore during times of challenge or stress. But we just have to create some quiet time. You know, when we think about a book that's easy to read, we like a lot of white space, right? It allows us to rest. It allows us to pause. We need to build in white space in our own lives so that we have some, maybe not silence, but at least quiet. You know, I have a rule myself that when I am out of town, I never turn on the TV in my room. Never.
That's pretty disciplined.
I use that time to meditate, to relax, to listen to music, to read. Sometimes I'll listen to a TED Talk, or I'll listen to a CD or an audio book or something of a colleague that I've had on my list that gives me new ideas, gives me a burst of creativity or something new to ponder. I sometimes journal. I like to write out what's going on with me and kind of get it out, especially if I'm struggling with something. My favorite respite kind of activity always involves water, whether it's a swimming pool, whether
Yes.
it's the ocean,
Oh, you're talking
whether
to
it's
the
a fountain.
you're singing to the choir on that one. I love
Whether
water.
it's water noises.
yes.
So there's lots of ways that we can take care of ourselves that gives us that little boost. And we're all so unique and different. What might work for one person in one situation, like when I'm cleaning or doing something more energetic, I might listen to old rock and roll. But if I'm wanting to settle down and get ready to go to sleep, I might listen to Enya or some other musician that has more of a calming effect on my soul.
I love that. That's so important for us to do. So I know that you are a phenomenal keynote speaker. You're also a coach, a consultant. You do workshops, you do seminars, you also have online classes. What can people expect when they want to reach out to Dr. Nancy Little? What's it like to work with you? What can they expect?
Well, anybody that reaches out to me on my website or gives me a call is going to get a personal response from me. I'm going to want to know exactly what your goals, what your aspirations are, what you want to incorporate or change, or what you want to call forth, either in your own life or in your organization. I may want to do a needs assessment and possibly even talk to other clients or customers, other employees. So I get a round.
You really customize it.
Yes.
You really tailor it and customize it. That's
a
great.
very thorough understanding, because nothing is pre-packaged, so to speak. I do have some themes that are consistent that I do repeatedly, but it's always tailored to the individual group that needs my assistance, because you have your own desires and situations.
Well, I know how you've really taken care of our NSA North Texas chapter, National Speakers Association North Texas chapter, and I can just imagine what you do for your clients.
Thank you.
Trust me, she's going to take care of you. Yes, very, very much so. So you have a book out there.
I do.
And so tell me about your book.
Well, this is a book that I co-authored with a number of other HR and OD professionals, and it's called You at Work: Unlocking Human Potential in the Workplace. And my specific chapter is Come Alive to Fully Thrive as an Energy Creator, which is pretty much what we've been talking about. So it goes into a little bit more depth about some of the specific strategies with more examples and more ideas, as well as some thought-provoking questions.
I love that. You also have another book coming out. I
do.
think September 1st. Tell me
September
about
1st.
that. Tell me about that.
Well, it's called 52 Keys to Mitigate Stress of Leadership. And it's a tip book. It's something more condensed with more white space, as we talked about. It's set up that it can be read all at once, or it can be a weekly practice where you take one particular tip and incorporate it. There is a lot of value in either approach, but it's something that would be valuable to have for your employees, your work teams, your family.
And it's easy to fit into a purse or a coat pocket or something like that.
Absolutely. It's not going to weigh you down. It's not going to put your suitcase over limit if you even check one.
It's not War and Peace. You can carry it with you, right?
That's
I like
exactly
that.
right.
I like that kind of learning personally. I just like to look at something and learn very, very quickly and soak it all in. And that's what I'm sure your book's going to do. So how can our audience get your books?
They can go to my website.
Okay. And tell me what that is.
TheEnergyCreators.com.
So the
all together, all lowercase, TheEnergyCreators.com. You can reach out to me at Nancy at TheEnergyCreators.com. And I do want to say that the book on my website is on sale right now. It's listed at $14.95. So buy it from me. There's no cost for shipping. I'll autograph it for you, and you'll save from buying it on Amazon as well. $5.
There you go.
A deal.
You know what I also want you to mention? You mentioned earlier in our interview that people could go out to a website, to your website, and find what were they going to find? I forget what the what the areas were, but they were going to find tips and techniques, right?
Right. It's a little checklist. It's a number of ideas, and it's called Tips to Restore Your Energy During Challenging Times. About 30 tips.
I love that. I'm going to go do that.
Just little quick tips.
I love that. I'm going to go to your website, which is www.theenergycreators.com.
Yes.
I'm going to go get my tips. I could use those tips right now.
Yeah, we all can. I need to be reminded from time to time. I'll look at it and say, now, what did I say? What do I do now?
I couldn't agree with you more.
It's an ongoing process. Nobody does it perfectly. And all we're really trying to do, Betty, is get to the next step where we need, like we can envision it like we're climbing a ladder. We're taking the next right step for us.
I've learned so much in listening to you today, because I've always known about emotional intelligence, but energy intelligence, I think that is something that we overlook. And if we could control our energies, I know that I've done some different analysis and everything else, and I've got a lot of energy. And so I activate and I energize and I initiate and I achieve things. And sometimes that's just Betty, the way she's made.
Right.
But I need to back it up, pull in the reins on it a little bit, and realize that, okay, other people don't have that. And so let's be more intelligent about how we come across in our energy and manage it better. And I love that idea. I love that idea. And then there's others that, everybody has different energy levels, and they're all A-okay.
Sure.
We just love them and appreciate them and utilize them as a leader.
And we also function differently at different times of the day. So when we manage our energy, we look at when are the times that I'm going to work on this task and it's going to flow the most easily, where we literally might say that we totally feel in the flow and things just fall out on the paper, or we just move through a task. There are times when we're more creative. There are times when we're more analytical.
Yes.
So knowing that about ourselves is imperative.
Right. I've got a question. I've got
Sure.
a problem here I'll ask you, Dr.
Okay.
Nancy. I know that back in the good old days when I was a project manager for a large corporation, I knew that when I was starting to do those Gantt charts, or I was starting to put the processes and procedures together, I was looking for chocolate or something to eat that was going to give me that energy before I started into that task. And I got in the habit, and I gained a few pounds from that. But those are like little things we learn about ourselves, right? That
Sure.
we can manage and
Yes.
do properly. Eat carrots instead of chocolate caramel.
Well, we don't have to give up all of our chocolate caramels, but maybe in moderation. But there are other healthy snacks that we can plan for and
Right.
keep nearby. Almonds or some sort of trail mix.
But it's all in managing your energy.
It is, and making sure that
energy
we don't
intelligence.
work through lunch,
Yes.
or we don't eat a candy bar or a bag of chips at our desk, that we really get up and move. All of that plays into how we flow through our day, and it affects how we sleep at night as well.
And how we function, how we see
Sure.
the world. I love it. You've been wonderful. So let me ask you a question. If you
Sure.
have one last idea or something valuable that you want to leave our audience with today,
Yeah.
what would that be?
That we can all be the change we want to see in the world. That's a popular quote from Gandhi. However, it's true, but we have to take care of ourselves first. We have to make ourselves a priority, because when we behave in nurturing ways that our future self will later thank us for, where we don't deprive ourselves of sleep or food or fresh air or relationships with other people or time with our special pets, like I know you love your pet so much, and so do I, then we have the energy and the awareness to be kind and compassionate to others. And it has a ripple effect, because ultimately we're all connected and we all need each other in order to thrive and really live full and meaningful lives.
I love it. You are so valuable. You're such a special person. Thank you.
I appreciate
Thank you
you
for being
so
on the show.
much.
Thank you for being on the show.
It's fun to be with you.
Did a great job.
always.
Yes.
Yes.
And thank you, my wonderful audience, for being on the NSA National Speakers Association Power Up podcast. Thank you for being with us today. And remember, it's all about powering up to be better, to be faster, to be stronger. Take care of your energy.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Do it.
See you next time. Thanks a lot. See you soon.
Thanks for listening to Power Up with NSA North Texas. To find out more about today's guest or NSA North Texas, visit www.speaker.org. To find out more about Power Up, visit our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/groups/NSA North Texas. And to find out more about Betty, visit www.bettycoffeepresents.com.